see you. I see y'all. All right, let's get it, man. Let's get it, people, man. Let's get it. Let's do it, man. Let's talk the damn thing, man. I mean, talk the damn thing. Talk the damn thing, man. Want to know? Talk the damn thing. Yes. One more sleep, Daniel. Indeed. Indeed. Boxing here. What's up? Marks. Anselm. Talk the damn thing. Alright. Yes. But the stragglers getting a little. You know what I mean? I do this like KRS-One, you know what I'm saying? Like KRS-One on higher learning and tracks like that, what he would do, yeah. Let the beat ride. Not just jumping after 8 bars. Let the MCs get their way up. And then it's time to go to work. You know what I mean? It's time to go to work, people. Hey, Lennox, big up yourself. I mean, Guinness Fund contribution, always appreciated. Always appreciated. Back in 2 seconds. Yo, let's discuss it, people. If you want to talk, there's a link there, but it will only be to people who I recognize. There's a link there if you want to talk about tomorrow's goings-ons. Who's in the building? Who's in the building? Bruce Gass, what's good? Benjamin, what's good? First to let a rhyme. Boxing here, Blast Master. Yes, indeed. The beauty of the pencil. Big up Anthony Beats. What's happening? Not too much, brother. Johnny's on one. What's up? Marks. Anything can happen. Indeed. Indeed. So, Daniel, 3 pounds up on his last weight against Hegovic, career heaviest, and you can visibly see it. He didn't look fat, but you can see he looked heavy around the midriff and stuff. You know what I mean? Looked a little heavy. Looked a little heavy. So, I think he's outlining his intentions. There's not going to be no finesse from Daniel. Like, you know, he can't box with AJ. You know, anyone analyzing the fight and wasting their time, Daniel jab and yeah. That's just a waste of time. All that's a waste of time. Yeah, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. You know what I mean? You're overthinking it. Don can't and won't be able to devise this aerodynamic version of Daniel. It could look pretty against AJ. That's not what this is about. Team Dubois are going for the, and I include Frank in this, they're going for the PTSD Joshua, the mentally weak Joshua, the I ain't got no stamina Joshua, the I haven't got no confidence Joshua. They want to run that Joshua down. That's what they're looking to do, yeah? That's what they're looking to do in there. It's not complicated. It's coming for a scrap. You know what I mean? Feed says if Joshua boxes behind his jab, we all sinners. Said Beats man's just nervous. You're nervous? What are you nervous about? You fighting tomorrow? I don't like your name either. I'll be honest with you. I don't like your name. I just don't like your name. Your tag name. I don't like your name. I don't like it. I can see, I can see your trouble. So I'm going to get rid of you now. I'll do that now. I'll get rid of you now. I'll get rid of you. How do you get rid of people? Go to the channel and get rid of them. I'll get rid of you now. I'm not going to let you spoil the thing. Hide user. Yeah, just hide a minute. Just hide you. Right, and you're gone. You're out of here. I don't like your name. What does that mean exactly? Have a proper discussion. If you got objective positioning against mine, just say it. Don't go on with the stupidness though. You know what I mean? Don't like your name. Best to just get rid of them early, rather than entertain them. Yeah. Yeah, basically they're going to they're looking for all the stuff that's been said about Joshua. Mentally weak, can't take a punch, no stamina, not confident. So they want to bully AJ. They can't play it behind the jab. They can't play it behind the jab. He couldn't play it behind the jab with Joe Joyce. You know what I mean? Anthony said it's not going 6. And AJ's biggest worry is if he lets the glamour and glitz get to his head. You know what I mean? Because like you saw the reception he got in there, man. He got a crazy reception in there. You know, Terence Crawford came to see him shadow box with Terence. You know, at the open workout, they didn't want to let him out of there. Like Freddie Cunningham had to kind of like, no, that's enough autographs, man. You got to give the man a break. They were marginally booing Daniel, actually. You know what I mean? Not heavily. Daniel's already snitched on himself as well. He said, I'm going to throw headbutts. I'm going to fight dirty if necessary. Which wasn't clever, you get what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to do that, why would you snitch on yourself? Now you've got the referee alerted to your tactics already. And you've got Team Joshua alerted to your tactics. And If Joshua like gets into all that like yeah, this is my show and Daniel's not a factor, then it could, you know, you never know. You never know. And it all depends how much punishment. Unless Joshua gets caught early, it depends how much punishment Daniel can take from Anthony. And that's why he's bulked up, I think. He's bulked up. They're hoping that the bulk will help him take extra punishment, perhaps. But the alternative argument is that it will leave him a sitting target because he's not moving with all that extra bulk. You know what I'm saying? It's only £3, but it's still £3. £3 is £3. And I could visibly see the £3. I could see it. You can see his belly. It's look a bit more swollen than usual. Just looks a bit more swollen. Alright, let's go to box rec. Who was I thinking about? You know what was really bad about the weigh-in was Joshua Boaxi. That was really bad. How did the Scottish guy have supporters booing Joshua Boaxi, raised in London, lives up the road from, you know, Trafalgar Square, literally lives up the road, right? How did he get booed, but yet the Scottish guy, you know what I mean, like, although he came on the scene for a couple of months, he better win this fight, because if he loses this fight, it would have been on the back of turning down a world title shot last year. And he was doing perfectly fine at Matchroom. If he's honest, he was doing perfectly fine. He had a title shot there. It would have been better to rebuild from a loss to Bivol, who's not a big puncher, than a loss to this kid here. A lot of wasted momentum for Joshua Boaxi. He better perform. He better perform tomorrow. He better perform. Josh Warrington sold 10,000 tickets. 10,000. The IBO title will be on the line when he takes on Kakache. 10,000 tickets. So it's £3 up. He was 239 for the Miller fight just some 9 months ago, Daniel. So he's bulked up £9 for the Joshua fight. Is that a good idea? Can he use that effectively? Has anyone really pushed Joshua around the ring? Like I don't remember it. I don't remember no one really pushing Joshua around the ring. Feed Khabib says, Dubois is coming for a scrap. If Joshua boxes behind a jab, he can't lose. If he wants to scrap, it's 50-50. Yeah, I agree with that. Guzzy says Dubois is only listening to his dad in the corner. I think so as well. The beauty of the pencil said he's nervous for AJ, but I think he will come through the fire. Let's go, AJ. Hey, listen, man, if you're supporting one fighter, you're always going to be a bit tense on the outcome. You know what I mean? That's just natural. Like, Daniel's not coming there to bring flowers. He's coming there to try and take AJ's head off. Rah! How come? He says, Joshua was never mentally weak. The man goes into immediate rematches with opponents that's beat him conclusively. Great point. Daniel thinks it's going to be a war. Could be. It could be. You never know. me get rid of some of these windows. All right, let me catch up a little. Sorry about this. Windows clogged up again. Hi, what's good? Let me just read out these super chats and we'll talk some boxing. All right, I'll big up Lennox again for the super chat, and I want to big up Marks for the super chat. Have to support my fellow Bassets and boxing enthusiasts. Indeed, appreciate the super chat. Big yourself up. All right, one more, and then we'll get to you. Big up Anthony. He says, is Dubois' dad in the witch business? I don't know. What I don't understand, though, if he wants so much control, why don't he just get a trainer's license? If Daniel is the guy he listens to, why doesn't he just get a trainer's license and be done with it? And, like, if he's not so confident about being the chief second, just get an assistant you can lean on when you lose your way. Because, like, if Daniel's the only person he listens to, it doesn't matter if he's a little technically deficient on a few things. Just get an assistant. You know what I mean? What's up, Ham?
What's going on, Beach? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
All right, I'm doing something a little different this time. I got the headphones on. I wanted to know from you, how do you see the fight going? What round and what punch?
I think Joshua's going to systematically break him up with the jab. Like, getting some feedback from you there, so I'm going to have to fix that. I don't know what that is. Audio.
There's something.
Audio. Let me see. Maybe.
You sound decent right there. Oh, but that was an echo.
Right, there's a bit of an echo there.
Yeah, there's a what? Yeah.
Juice mic background. What about now?
I think it's good.
Is that good?
I don't know. Yeah, nah, it's good. So go ahead. What you were saying? What round and what punch?
I like. There's a little feedback working out. I didn't have all that marked down. I think he's gonna break. I think he's gonna go for the eye. Is it the left eye that Joe Joyce busted up behind the jab? He can't miss the 1-2. You know, like that right hand. If Daniel doesn't land early, that right hand is going to punish him really badly. You know what I mean? Like Joe Joyce's right hand is undeveloped, and he still managed to outbox Daniel with one hand. I know it's a few years back.
But still, I think you're very astute because I was thinking the same thing as far as the left. Daniel Dubois' left eye is what swelled up from the Joe Joyce jab, and if his left eye swells up, it's over because that means he can't see the right hand coming. I think what Joshua does is when he did against Wallin, he throws the jab up top and he throws the right hand to the body constantly. Sooner or later, you gonna swear to God it's coming to the body. It's gonna come to the head. You're not gonna see it because your eye is already swollen and it's over.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. Did you try to find some way that Daniel could win the fight? Like some strategy or some way that Daniel is actually gonna win this fight? I came up with a little bit of a guess. I wanted to see what you came up with. Like how could Daniel possibly win?
They're banking on attrition. I don't think one shot will do it. One shot could hurt Joshua. He doesn't have the greatest chin. One shot could hurt him, but they're banking on attrition. You know what I mean?
Attrition, but don't you think like you can't bank on attrition against a puncher this big like that? I think that's a stupid. No, I don't think they can bank on attrition.
All right,
I think they.
what else can he do? What
I
else
think
can he?
his only chance. The one thing Joshua has a weakness when we saw in the very first round of the Usyk fight is he doesn't like erratic head movement. That crazy head movement that Usyk was throwing. I think that's Daniel Dubois' only key. I think if Daniel Dubois could literally come out there and do a Mike Tyson rendition and pressure him off rip, I think that's his best chance.
Hi,
You know,
are you serious?
I'm saying that if he's moving his head crazy fast and jumping in, oh, we got to echo. We got to echo.
He's not.
I think
He's not doing no Mike Tyson nothing, brother.
he's a shorter guy. I think that's his best chance. That's the only way I see him winning this fight.
He doesn't move his head like that.
I know, but I'm saying if that's what they trained on, if this is the new Daniel Dubois coming into this particular fight, that's the best I got for him.
It's not.
You know,
It's not happening, brother.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying it. I
Attrition.
know.
Attrition is best option.
Oh no, that's not gonna work in front of Anthony Joshua. No, that's not gonna work. He done went 12 rounds more times than Daniel Dubois has. That's not a smart. That's not gonna work. And you can't stand up to that many punches for that long, especially from this guy. This guy's a monster. I don't see that working.
Well, um, he doesn't have the tools in the box, brother. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he doesn't. Let me
Got
ask you this.
Got outboxed by Joe Joyce.
I mean, Jesus Christ, it's sad. That's really bad. But let me ask you this. You know how fighters are basically it's basically three types of fighters as far as taking punches. They could is high on the head, is right on the chin, or is uppercut. Maybe or like no high on the head. I mean like a temple shot or uppercut. You think maybe AJ goes back to the uppercut for Daniel Dubois, knocks him out because he takes a good right hand to
the uppercut, the uppercut. Like, you see, Joyce ain't got that punch like that. The uppercut, yeah, that'd be beautiful for Daniel. Yeah, the uppercut.
yeah. The uppercut, I think that's what I kind of see. I see him hitting them with a right hand, kind of stunning them, and then hitting them with an uppercut, and it's over.
Yeah, yeah. See, he didn't even get the chance to throw them shots against Ngannou because, like, the straight right was just enough. Like, I mean,
yeah, it was money.
That was money right there. You know what I'm saying? So, Daniel, I don't know what this echo is, but yeah, it's got to be attrition. Like the head movement thing, we need to write that off the list. Yeah, that's not what he does. Like Mike Tyson, you said Mike Tyson. No, he's not doing that, bro. He's not doing that.
What I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I'm saying do your best Mike Tyson rendition. Do your Tyson versus Berbick rendition. Try that's your best bet for the first 3 rounds. I don't think the fight goes past 3 rounds. What I think happens is Daniel Dubois wins the first 3 rounds, and while he's winning the third round, he gets put to sleep. That's what I really believe is going to happen. I think Daniel Dubois is winning. He's pressuring. AJ's just standing around looking kind of stupid, not really doing much, more defensive than offensive. And then out of nowhere, he catches him with something crazy, and it's over.
That's what
One punch, knockout.
He's got to go in there like a crazy man and bring it to AJ. Bring it to AJ like Ngannou couldn't, and like that's not one in style really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this echo is crazy. And I've turned the volume down. Oh,
is it you echoing or me? Because I don't hear the echo.
You can't hear it. I can hear the echo.
Oh, you can hear the echo. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear the echo. I'm trying to get rid of it. See what I can do. Is it still there? Yeah, it's still there.
Damn. I really can't hear it, so I can't tell you.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe when I talk, you'll have to mute when I talk.
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to be a hassle for you, but
did it work? Did it work right there? Like I just muted. Did it work?
All right, mute for a
I'm on mute again. I'm on mute again. Right.
So yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, so that's what it is. When you talk, I'll mute. That's no problem.
Yeah, Daniel got to turn it into a war. Don said we've got to let AJ feel his age in the ring, but AJ is not an old 34. He looks after himself. He's not old 34. AJ like doesn't mind the distance. He done the distance against Franklin. He done the distance twice against Usyk. Daniel couldn't do the distance against Usyk. But what other options does he have? He has to try and gut AJ down the stretch, land a hard shot early, or attrition. Daniel's routes to victory. Try and catch him early. Try and gut him down the stretch, and attrition. Keep bringing it. Get hit, keep ticking. You know what I mean? Get hit, keep ticking. Get hit, keep ticking. Keep ticking. That's what he's got to do. You know, he doesn't have the skill set to do anything else.
I will say this. Daniel couldn't keep up. Daniel's 27 years old. He couldn't keep up with Usyk. He couldn't go the distance. He couldn't keep up the pace with Usyk. Tyson Fury didn't go the distance with Usyk. We all know he didn't go the distance with Usyk. So now both of them couldn't go the distance. AJ went the distance 2 times with him. So AJ is not going to be surprised by the pace. Whatever pace Daniel tries to implement, AJ is not going to be surprised by it because he's already with the worst pace in the entire heavyweight division, which is Usyk.
Daniel says Dubois to try and counter AJ with a left hook when he does that stab jab to the body. Yeah, he definitely has to try and counter, and he's capable of countering. But the head movement thing, he definitely has to counter because AJ is going to show that offense, so he's going to have to try and counter it. Like no matter how stormy it gets, he's going to have to try and counter. You know.
But is Daniel even a counter puncher? We don't consider Daniel Dubois to be a counter puncher. We consider Anthony Joshua to be a counter puncher.
He has to counter.
Yeah, but it's not in his first nature to counter. You see what I'm saying? Like Anthony Joshua is in his nature to counter. Canelo is in his nature to counter. Andy Ruiz, Povetkin.
He did it against Hrgovic.
Not really. Maybe once or twice, but not really. He was foot forward. You know what I mean? He was attacking Hrgovic. He was damn sure wasn't countering those right hands. That's for sure.
He was countering the jabs, not the right hand. He was countering the jabs though. With his own jab, I guess.
Yeah. They were fencing.
Yeah, he has to counter. Like all fight, even aggressive fighters have to counter. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting.
You think Buatsi beats Hutchinson? Hutchinson. That's his name.
Yeah, Hutchinson. That's interesting. That's interesting. A lot of people have got Hutchinson for the upset, you know, but I'm going to go Buatsi.
I'm going to go Buatsi as well, but Hutchinson is he a bad boy? We're gonna see. I think he pissed off Buatsi and he gonna find himself in trouble.
But Willie is a threat. I think it's more. I've got it at 50-50, but I don't know. Willie's a threat, man. He can box, man. He's got good hand speed. Engine weren't too bad against Craig Richards. I think his feet might be better than Dubois. I don't like the fight for Joshua like that. But I don't like it for him. Wizard Sleeve, he said a massacre incoming. He believes that Joshua is going to destroy Daniel.
Yeah, we now looking at Joshua. After you knock out a 270-pound man with power in both hands, and you knock him out the way that you did, we don't see Dubois being so much more skillful than Ngannou. We feel like if Joshua hits you, it's over, no matter who you are. If he hits you the way he hit Ngannou, it's over. And this kid is open for that kind of punch, man.
Marks, what's up?
What's going on, Beats? You alright?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What's your take on everything? Anything you want to talk on about the event?
Whew, so much going on, boy. Last 2 days has been a crazy one with Spencer Fearon's lambasting of Daniel Dubois' dad. I'm wondering if that's going to have any effect on Daniel's performance. Obviously, Daniel worships his dad, in it, but obviously he must know what's going on at home, or maybe he doesn't. Some people say the lights ain't on, as I keep seeing online. That's not me, this is what they say online. So I'm wondering how that's going to affect him in the build-up. He looked nervous. He looked nervous in the thing yesterday as well. Like, I don't know if this thing's catching up to him on top of his own insecurities in front of Joshua. Talking shit about a man is one thing, but when a man's in your face and you're faced with the reality, the story becomes a bit different, isn't it? I said a lot there, but that's what I'm looking at the moment. That's my focus.
Anything on the rest of the card? What are you looking forward to? What did you see? Did you see anything that couldn't affect the outcomes on the rest of the card?
For the rest of the card, boy, I'm looking forward to Boatsy and what's his face, Hutchinson.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. Simply because I don't know, Hutchinson's kind of got that herky jerky thing going on. He turned out Spider the other day, and
Right.
I think that was a shock to like the majority of us. I think most people would have picked Spider to win that, but when you check it in hindsight, Spider's a notoriously slow starter. I think Joshua Boatsy is a funny one. He's a funny one because he seems to have the tools and the talent, but sometimes it seems like it don't all click. I don't know if there's an identity crisis there going on somewhat. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off. He's kind of got a certain type of energy. You know the energy I'm talking about. But then he gets offered world title fights and he turns it down. It's kind of, Boatsy's a kind of hard one to work out. But talent for talent, I'd say that he should have enough to beat Hutchinson. He's just got to stay focused.
Hutchinson got fast hands, man. I was watching the Craig Richards fight. He's got fast, and he does good angles. What it is, he's annoying, so people ain't really acknowledging what he can do. Like he creates some good angles, man, and he likes to go toe to toe. You know, likes to go toe to toe. He likes to switch it up. You know what I mean?
Who would you say hits harder out of Spider and Boatsy?
I don't know. I'd probably say Boatsy.
Yeah, I would say Boatsy as well.
And Boatsy's not the type to let you smack him in the mouth and let you get away with it. Boatsy wants get back straight away, which can actually work against him, to be fair. It's one that I can't call off.
I got a question.
Off the bat.
I got a question for the both of y'all. Real quick. Is Boatsy's weakness the fact that he fights, that he walks around closer to his fight weight? Is he just not that really big and everybody else is kind of really bigger than him on the low because he walks around close to his fight weight?
Boatsy's a big guy.
He looks quite
big
to me.
He's a big guy.
He doesn't really look that big. At 175?
Yeah, I think he's struggling with the weight cut, man.
I don't think he's big at all at 175. Look at who's there. Look at the people that's at 175. I don't think he's compared with them as like size wise. That's what I'm saying. Plus his religion and everything, he's fast, So I don't think he ever really blows up in weight. I think Boatsy doesn't get a pound over 185. Where some guys is 195 working down,
Like yesterday, I was on Twitter and somebody put this up here. Somebody gave Daniel Instagram post to put up, and they gave him the instructions. So they told him, Dynamite Daniel, here's a strong and engaging caption for the final press conference post. And he left everything what they said, told him to do in the post and posted it up, and he had to take it down. Like Daniel, maybe he's focused in with Joshua, but Daniel is different, man. Like he's not. I don't want to say socially awkward.
Careful.
I don't want to say socially awkward, yeah, but I don't see how Daniel socializes amongst regular people. I don't get how if he does do that.
Well, he had a different kind of childhood as well. I'm not saying that's the only thing, but it might have contributed, didn't it? His dad never really had him in social schools. He was homeschooled, wasn't he? So there may have been a kind of social withdrawal through that process, maybe for his wiring, because it doesn't seem to have affected someone like Caroline in the same way. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know about the rest of the family. I don't watch them too much, but Caroline seems a lot more switched on.
Because the pops don't care as much about her as he does about Daniel. The pops is obsessed with Daniel. Got Daniel in a test tube somewhere all the time. That's why Daniel's a weirdo, and Caroline is able to shine because she didn't have those problems.
Yeah, like the fallout from the Shane McGuigan situation is Caroline stayed, Daniel went with his dad, and neither Daniel or the dad talked to Caroline right now. And I saw a video, and Caroline was like visibly shook about the situation. I mean, I'm not talking to my brother right now. And she's kind of downbeat about it. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, like you're saying, like he's raised them up a certain way. I'm not saying he was wrong. He's done the best job he can. But you know, let's just say he's not. I don't know. Let me not even try and define the kid. You know what I mean? It's all irrelevant. Tomorrow's the fight, and he's got to perform. So's AJ. So it's all irrelevant, really. Could all have opinions.
What do you think about the disqualification, Beats, as a result of the fight?
I was going to do a breakdown about that actually, because if he's committed himself to headbutts and any means necessary, which he's repeated several times now throughout the week, yeah. So he's got it in his mind that he's going to fight a dirty fight. He's got it in his mind. He could get DQ'd, and he also might test for something.
Yeah, that's what Joshua was saying.
Let me set a scene quickly, off the back of what you just said there, Beats. Let's say it's getting hard for Daniel in the ring, yeah?
Right.
There's a history there. There's a history there of, I didn't want to say that, innit? But there's a history there, innit? So when it gets tough, I don't think he's going to want to jack again. But you know what? A potential get out, an alternative jack could be to continue fighting dirty despite what the referee says, so that he gets DQ'd.
I could see him getting DQ'd because he's committed himself to fighting dirty. See, to me, that don't sound like a confident fighter. You know what I mean? Like, I've never heard Mike Tyson say, I'm going to drive your bone up into your brain and shit like that. But he never said, I'm going to use illegal tactics to beat you. I never heard that.
Daniel's not the most articulate. Daniel's not the most articulate, to be fair.
That's Galata type of shit. That's that Galata mindset. I think he's gonna crack in the ring. He's gonna crack when he realizes he can't get to Joshua and he's getting hurt. He's gonna do something. He's gonna do something so that he could get out of the situation.
That's what I'm saying.
Problem.
It might not be taking a knee. It might be an egregious headbutt instead. Just a new way to jack. New jack still like Wesley.
Because think about it, now the father is actually in the corner. The father put in his license to be a second. So the father is actually in the corner. He can't go back to that corner knowing that he took a knee or whatever the hell. So he gonna do something crazy He gonna headbutt him and then low blow him at the same time. It's gonna be something crazy. I can see that happening. I can
And
see
that
a young
corner,
27-year-old snap. A 27-year-old snap and don't control his emotions the correct way. I mean, that's not the first time we heard of a 27-year-old doing it.
definitely not. Definitely not. And the corner is just going to be messy. I can't get my head around all the extracurricular activity that's going on outside of it. The stuff that I came on the show with mentioning, like, do any of you two believe that Don Charles didn't show up because he had a cold?
No.
So
because here's
No.
the thing, yeah.
No.
If he had a cold, yeah, and all week there's been speculation whether he's going to turn up to the weigh-in, turn up to the fight, why would he wait until Friday to go on Talk Sport and say, yeah, it's going on? Monday, he could have just made, you know what I mean, a conference call, video link, or just to like, this is the internet era. It's not like old school where you have to actually physically be somewhere. This could have been cleared up days ago, and that would have been it. It would have been a non-story.
And there was an opportunity for Daniel to clear it up at the presser. Was it yesterday? And he didn't say. There was no mention of a cold or nothing. It was just, he's just going to be there on fight night. Like, why are you being secretive about it for? Like, if the dude's got a cold, he's got a cold. You would just say that, right? But
there you go.
Yeah, but you know
was going around the houses.
Yeah, but you know what actually happened? What actually happened is they gave him a certain percentage in his contract for the fights moving forward. They gave him that percentage based on the Usyk fight. They got paid a little bit of money, but nothing crazy for the Usyk fight. Nothing too crazy for the Usyk fight. Fine, he gets his percentage. Now they jump into the big leagues with Turkey Alashake and all of the real big money, the real night, and they don't want to give the same percentage. Same thing happened with Errol Spence and the coach, his coach, James. So that's what it is. They don't want to give him the 10% or whatever it is that they agreed to in the contract. That's the father that's doing that, because the father don't value his input. So that's what it is. They don't value his input, so you shouldn't get paid as much. But Don Charles has a contract that says how much he is paid. That's what's happening.
He gets a percentage of the purse.
Yeah, he gets a percentage of the overall purse. Now, the same thing happened with Golovkin and Abel Sanchez. Golovkin started talking that Canelo money. He's like, I'm not giving you 10%. What did I need you for? I always was Golovkin. I was an amateur star. What are you talking about? Like, I don't need you. I could fight Canelo on my own. That's what that is.
Yeah. It's a bit of a mad time to do that, but from what I understand, Daniel's dad's always been a gym hopper. He don't like something, he takes Daniel right out. Daniel is his personal pet project. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is very different to how the average boxer will come up. Like, Daniel's really had no home by the sounds of it, like, in terms of coming up. You know what I mean? It's all been dad. That's why he's so in tune to his dad's voice. Do you know what I mean?
You said he was a gym hopper. I heard differently. I heard they've been kicking him out of every gym he goes to because he won't stop. He won't let a trainer be a trainer. They've been kicking him out of everywhere he goes. That's what I heard.
Well, that's not him. That's his dad. That's his dad that's doing that. Because I can't remember who said it the other day. They said something about Daniel got, what gym was it again? Do you know what?
Mark Tibbs?
Sorry, do you know what? No. It wasn't even Mark Tibbs. Do you know what? I was at a gym yesterday. That Daniel used to train in, actually, and something came up. That's where I heard it from, so I'm going to leave that one off. But long story short, a particular gym, he used to train there, and his dad said nope, wanted it his way. Trainers are like, listen, we can't function like this. And then his dad took him out, and Daniel apparently was crying. I heard. He didn't want to come out of that gym. You know what I mean? So take that as you will, but there's obviously a history. When you add that on top of, the fact that, he was at Peacocks, he was with Shane, he was with Tibbs for a couple of months, he was with, do you know what I mean? And even Stan or Dave, whatever he calls himself, he said it from his own mouth. He said, if I don't like something, I always just make a decision and take my son out. Like, so he says that he don't play no games when it comes to what he wants for his son. Like, there's no, like, I don't know. For me, boxing, like, it's the kind of sport where you're supposed to go through some challenge and difficulties. I'm not talking about fighting, like mentally, psychologically. Like, if your dad's pulling you out for every little thing, are you really getting to grow and develop properly and learn? You know what I mean? Like,
Joe
are you?
Joe Stunner said, "Watch Stan Dubois' interview with Danny Flexen on Boxing Shows.
That's the
And
one.
tell me, it's surprising his kids turned out socially inept. Stan Dubois is an oddity," is what Joe Stunner said.
Yeah, he's a little bit kooky, isn't it? Stan. But
Yeah, and what you'll find, yeah, in Caribbean families. Now, I don't want to generalize, yeah, but if they're into black magic, you'll find their kids come out funny. If they're into all that stuff.
Is he into that though?
He is.
Well,
He is
Spencer
100% into it.
Yeah, he's into the black magic. Yeah. And Spencer said, like, because Solicitor's letter ended up on Spencer's door, and he said, "Yo, if you want to go court, I've got a lot to unleash." So he didn't mind that. So.
Oh wow, like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So he tried to litigate Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sent him a cease and desist letter, right?
Crikey. You know, the thing is, yeah, if he was messing with the judge, yeah, that's his. I don't agree with that, but that's their personal preference. But that would be that, innit? That's your source. But I'm sure I heard Stan Dave, whatever he calls himself, talking about how he's very Christian, or he's from a very Christian background, and and then you hear Daniel talk about God's going to do this, God will. Now I've heard him mention, like, make reference to God, and I'm thinking to myself, well, what master are you serving then? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, one way or the other, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But it's kind of like 50-50.
Let me just read out Tony Lyons. Big up Tony. He says, "Dunn is away because he's been told to stay away from Triple G at the presser. Had an opportunity to say his coach was not well, but he didn't. He will fold, walk into that ring. He already got booed at the weigh-in." Yeah, I don't think Daniel will hold up to that. Like, he crumbled in Poland, man. He crumbled. And if you watch Usyk knew that if he put, because it was a different fight from Usyk. Usyk was actually, like, committing to power shots with Daniel. He wasn't trying to set him up, like feint, like, he was committing to, because he saw Daniel would break. And if AJ can keep him behind that jab on the back foot, it will be a tough night. It will be a very tough night for Daniel.
Well, that's how Joyce broke him, innit?
Yeah, that's how so Joyce broke him. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Joyce punches slow. Like, you can see them punches coming all the way from Greenwich, mate. You know what I mean? So, I don't know what kind of madness Joshua will be able to do to Dubois using the jab.
I think Joshua is the third fastest heavyweight in the world right now. As far as hand speed, I think it's Andy Ruiz. I think it's Moses Atama, and then it's Anthony Joshua. Moses Atama and Anthony Joshua are close, but Moses Atama, he got something special about him, right? But Andy Ruiz is a monster. If Joshua will light him up, and he's not going to be able to take but 3 of those punches. He's not going to take more than 3 of those punches. The third one is going to knock you out.
So what you got then, Hyam? And what's your prediction?
My prediction is Daniel Dubois wins all 3 of the first 3 rounds. While he's winning the 3rd round, he gets caught with a right hand, then a right uppercut, and it's over. His mouthpiece goes flying in the air. And his body is like limp, and he's gone. It's over. That's my prediction.
Okay. What you got, Marks?
won't lie, I've changed my opinion a few times. I started off like last week thinking it will go late, but just weighing up everything, the way things have been moving, I'd say I expect Daniel to come out fast. I think that's the only real thing that he can do to unsettle Joshua, and it's probably the only thing that will work, because Joshua's going to want to take time to kind of feel the fight out. That's what he's traditionally done. He's always tried to feel out the fight, find a rhythm. He's a bit of a rhythm fighter, isn't it? So I see Daniel putting it on him for the first couple of rounds. AJ trying to weather the storm, because AJ will be thinking about what he wants to do. So I'm gonna say, by the time we've settled into the fight properly, I'd say fourth, fifth. I'm gonna say a 5th round stoppage, AJ. But I have to add the caveat that, you know, if AJ wants to take the fight longer, I think he can as well. It might be one of them. I think you said it earlier, Beats, like the systematic breakdown, just really focused on the eye. That might be, you know, plan B if the straight knockout doesn't work. So in which case we go a bit further. But I'm going to stick with well,
AJ gave right, go on. A knockout,
yeah, by the fifth.
AJ gave it away, didn't he? Like when the question came up about the sparring session, he said he caught me with a great shot and he can't wait to try and get revenge. So he definitely wants to you know, like get some get back on what happened with that big shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, AJ's been holding that for a while.
Yeah,
because he never really mentioned it. Yeah, and AJ always says, "I watch everything, you know. Don't think I don't see what's going on. What you know, whoever's saying what, I've seen." He really focuses on those minuscule details, in regards to like insults thrown at him. So, yeah, I think he's going to want it. Plus, he's going to want the highlight reel knockout as well, isn't it? Just gives him a bit more gravitas in the heavyweight division again.
All right. What's up, John?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Right.
What are we talking? Predictions?
Any way you want to go, you can break down what you've seen on the undercard, the main event, prediction, anything you want to contribute.
Well, okay, we'll start with, as you're talking, predictions for the main event. I'm going with Joshua. I think Dubois will come out rampaging like he did against Hrgovic. Huge gaps in his defense. It's possible he goes out early. But I think what will happen is Joshua will probably be a bit circumspect, maybe box a bit, be a little bit cautious early on, just let Daniel shoot his bolt. And then I think AJ takes over after about 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds. And I think he'll knock out Dubois in about 8 rounds.
Around 8, you've got it, yeah?
Yeah, I'll go with around 8.
Okay.
The Don Charles thing, just to sort of throw my 2 cents in here. I left a comment in the chat regarding an interview with Stan Dubois. I think Danny Flexen did it on Boxing Social. It's well worth a look. It's only about 10 minutes, but what a strange dude that guy is, Stan Dubois. I mean, he is. You can see why Daniel is perhaps lacking in social skills. Stan just comes across as being a real oddity, and I don't pretend to understand why or what his vibe is, but. It was a very, very revealing 10 minutes of interview. And he did say, when asked by Danny Flex, he said, "Well, do you have a lot of influence in the gym?" He said, "Oh, yeah, sure I do, yeah. And he said, "Well, why don't you just let the trainers do their thing?" And Stan said, "Well, you know, I'm a very spiritual person." Well, I have no idea what that means, but he's a very spiritual person. He didn't really elaborate other than to say, "Well, I see things that other people don't." And there's a big ego, almost a narcissistic element there, maybe. And, you know, I think Daniel, one of the other guys said it well. They said, you know, he's his pet project. That's the impression I get too. Whereas Caroline, he did talk about Caroline as well. I think it's really sad that, you know, father and daughter aren't speaking. I think it's awful. But he was saying, well, Caroline, I didn't like her boxing. I don't like women boxing because she was losing her femininity. And... yeah. Okay. Well,
is that what he said? Yeah.
Yeah, she was losing her femininity, and he didn't really elaborate on the Shane McGuigan situation. As far as Spencer Fearon's concerned, I have heard, I don't know, maybe the other guys have heard this as well, or they can confirm it or deny it, but there's a money issue there. I think Stan owes Spencer some money over something, I don't know what.
Yeah, you know what it was? It was Spencer who recommended him to go to Don Charles. So I think, I don't know if it's standard in the boxing community, like you pay an introduction fee to the person who brought you there. So I don't know if that's the issue.
No. Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you think Daniel's work rate, like which he used to break down Hrgovic, could give AJ some issues?
Yeah, and also, you know, there's the dirty tactics, the head and everything, but there's a difference here, and that is that Hrgovic was incredibly arrogant going into that fight. And I think the arrogance was genuine. I don't think it was just sort of piss and wind. I think he genuinely thought he was going to smash through Dubois. And he must have thought all his Christmases had come early in the first 2 rounds, when he was pinging that right hand through the gaps in Daniel's guard. And Daniel wasn't going anywhere. Now, if AJ catches him early with a similar punch, Dubois is going to feel it, even though he's got a pretty good jaw. But the work rate can only last for, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 rounds tops. And this is 12 rounds on a massive stage against a guy who is not taking you lightly, who's not being arrogant, who's probably done his homework and has got a very good coach in his corner. I just don't see the same sort of similarity between the Hrgovic fight and this one. I think they're a very different fight.
And Hrgovic, like, he carried his left hand very low, didn't he, at times?
Yeah.
Very arrogantly low against a puncher. Like, one thing Daniel is a puncher, and if you keep your hand low, yeah, you're going to get damage, man. You're going to accumulate damage. At least Joyce had the sense to keep his left hand up. He hasn't got the greatest defense.
I thought the arrogance of Hrgovic, you know, I'm kind of got tongue in cheek here, but you can sum it up by saying he didn't even bother having his hair cut. You know, it was that type of vibe off the guy. You know, like, yeah, I got to turn up. I whipped him in sparring, you know, 100 years ago, so I'm going to smash through this guy. And you know, as you know, when you're in the ring, you can't really change your mindset. It's very, very difficult to change things around.
Yeah. If you start off overconfident like he did, it's hard to go back and have respect for the opponent. And he definitely had no respect for Daniel. He had no respect.
Yeah. Precisely, yeah. By the way, can I mention an upset? I don't think you've mentioned it yet, which is I'm not with any great confidence, but I've got a hunch that Ismail Davis might upset Josh Kelly.
One sec. Someone's got some motor in the back. I don't know what it is. I can hear this humming.
It's been going on for a while. I've been wondering. It sounds like somebody's mowing a lawn or something.
It's gone.
Yeah. Oh, you've got Ismail Davis pulling off an upset?
I think it's feasible. I don't make that fight more than 50.
You think he could go?
Sorry?
You think he could like break the pretty boy, Josh Kelly?
Yeah, over 12 rounds. I'll tell you what, it's the extra 2 rounds that makes me think it's possible. 36 minutes of fighting against someone like Kelly, who is a bit brittle. I think I didn't like the way he unraveled mentally against Avanesian. When he got cut, it seemed to really freak him out. And I think if Davis fights, if he fights the right fight, because this is a jump up for both guys to 160. I think they're both 154 fighters, really. So I don't say it with any immense confidence, but it wouldn't surprise me if Davis stops Kelly late, 11th round, maybe.
Okay. All right. I'm looking out for that fight, actually. I do think that Davis is a tougher opponent than Liam. Liam hasn't been living a life. Liam, claimed the virus, but he was seen around the place looking very heavy. He wouldn't have made the weight.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have made the weight. And
past his best.
Yeah, Davis is a gym rat.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. It's going to be I think it's going to be tight. I think it will be tight. I wouldn't put the upset beyond Davis.
No, that's exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. some good fights on there, man.
I
Like,
think Buatsi beats Hutchinson. I know Hutchinson's got skills and good amateur and all that, but I think Buatsi's too heavy-handed and a bit too robust. I think he'll stop Willie late, to be honest.
if he comes apart in this one, Buatsi, it'll be a disaster.
Yes,
absolute disaster.
He's 34 now. He should have been fighting for world titles beforehand, but
is he 34?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Bloody hell! It's ridiculous, man. Yeah, it'd be a disaster if he doesn't get over the hump with Willie. Sad, it'd be sad.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Josh Warrington, he looked in good shape, and he's been written off before. I think in the early rounds he's going to be competitive with Kakache, but Kakache should win it. He should be too big.
He should win it by knockout. I think Kakache is going to knock him out in like the 6th round, maybe the 7th round, 6 to 8. He's going to knock him out. Josh Warrington is unfortunately he's just like a lot of fight Dylan White, Joe Joyce. Once that chin is cracked, it's cracked for good. And not every fighter is like that. Vladimir Klitschko, we thought his chin was cracked with the Corey Sanders loss, but he ended up getting his act together. He took big shots even after that and survived and did well. But some guys, when you crack their chin is cracked permanently. Dylan White, for example. I think Josh Warrington, I think his chin is cracked permanently. I think he's going to get hit with what's the other guy, the Irish kid. The Irish kid. That Conlon, Mike Conlon. Yeah, I think his chin is. Yeah, his chin is just cracked. There's nothing you could do. There's no coming back from it. And they could keep fighting on, but sooner or later somebody's will catch them, and that's it. I think that's what that is.
Big size difference too, isn't it? Size of Kakache compared to him.
Huge size difference, man. Like
Mauricio Lara
looks like a light welter, man. He looks like a light welter.
Yeah, he's big. I think Mauricio Lara ruined Josh Warrington. He'll never be the same.
Yeah, he did. That was a horrible beat, man.
That was bad. That knockout was bad, man. He didn't even make it to his feet. He didn't make it to his feet at the counter time. That was
during
bad.
The lockdown, man. That was during the lockdown.
Yeah. That was real bad.
It came out of nowhere. I didn't know who this guy was.
Surprised us all, didn't he?
Yeah, it did. It did.
And he was well on the way to winning I know it was only in the 2nd round that the fight was declared a technical draw, but in the first round he was rampaging in the rematch against
that's the definition of an intentional headbutt without being intentional. That's what that is. That's the definition of an intentional headbutt well disguised.
It's true.
Come on, man.
Could be the same situation though, Warren's a smaller guy coming up with a head. He's a pretty free and easy with the head, to put it mildly. So.
Oh, he's a dirty fighter. He's a very dirty fighter.
Yeah.
But we all know that he couldn't stand in front of Mauricio Lara no matter what. He was going to get knocked out, so he had to find a way to get that fight over with. We know what's really good. Like, we've been watching boxing long enough. We know.
Both these guys have only got eight KOs on their records, but they both hit harder than that low percentage suggests, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Like Kakache surprised me, man. Like when he started banging up like Cordina, just stood in the center with him. I didn't think he'd be able to do that.
Yeah. Cordina, I don't know. I don't know whether he was tight at the weight or weight drained, or he hadn't been living the life. It's a strange one. The dynamic's strange between Cordina and Hearn, isn't it? Because Hearn was big on Cordina a couple of years ago, but now there's a rift there,
Joe had a couple of hard fights, man. Like couple of the Rakimov and is it Nunes? The Nunes fights were very tough. I think it's drained the battery. It took something out of him.
Yeah.
Just took something out of him, without a doubt.
Do y'all really think Cordina is that good? or is he just
Well,
English level?
you look at the Algawa knockout, man. Like
That was
shows.
I'm saying that I'm with you because that's exactly what I was thinking about. The Ogawa knockout was crazy, but he ain't did much before and much after. You know what I'm saying?
Like you could never duplicate that kind of form. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
a second round knockout. I was in amazement when he did that.
that was beautiful. That shot, the way he lined it up, everything. That was a Canelo Amir Khan knockout. That was Ogawa Payano knockout. That shit was perfect. But damn, he's never looked that same way again.
Yeah.
I think he's good. He may have been a bit overrated, but he was okay. He was, B plus, A minus, maybe.
Yeah, man. Some good fights, man. Good card. Good card, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely looking forward to it. What about Shiraz and Denny? What you guys got on Shiraz and Denny?
I just can't get over how big Shiraz is. Jesus Christ. It's like, this is going to be like Thomas Hearns against Pino Cuevas, where you've got a good fighter in front of you, he just gets crunched in 2 rounds. I mean, he's massive for the weight, man.
Yeah, I just can't wait for Shiraz. The only reason why I watch Shiraz fights is I want to see him lose. And it's not nothing on his character or anything like that. The guy's a regular decent guy. He's a good fighter and everything. It's not nothing on his character. I got a thing for weight bullies. I don't like weight bullies. I can't stand them. And I want to see a 10th grader fight another 10th grader. I don't want to see a 12th grader squeeze down in the 10th grader and fight the 10th grader. You see, that's basically my story. I can't wait for him to realize that he done stayed at that weight a little too long and get knocked the hell out. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's a dangerous fight for Shiraz.
It's a dangerous fight, but I don't think it's going to happen on this fight. I think Shiraz is going to beat 2 or 3 more guys, and then he going to run into a problem. I love the fact that it happened to Devin Haney. Devin Haney was the biggest weight bully, talking all of that garbage. But you saw what happened to him when somebody else that was his actual size, another 10th grader, actually fought him. He got devastated. That's what I want to see. I want to see who's really for real. Like, not you got a huge advantage, but you don't have the skills that the smaller guy has. No, I want to see when you really got to step up and fight somebody your size, your skill set, what happens. That's what happened to Devin Haney. That's why nobody has any respect or sympathy for Devin Haney. Because he's talking about, oh, it's PEDs, it's PEDs. Dog, you got destroyed in the ring. Skill-wise, you got destroyed. It wasn't PEDs. It was, you got your head knocked off by a faster, quicker kid, man. That's what it is. Nobody want to hear that PED shit.
It'll be an interesting rematch, but I don't think either of them are going to want that. I think Ryan was already talking about fighting Tank again. And Devin, I don't really know if he wants that Ryan fight again. He might say it, like, loosely suggest it, but I don't know. I don't really see him taking that fight again. But I'd really like to see it again when they're both on equal footing.
Who is Tank fighting next?
Who knows? Who does ever fight? Who does
He's
he ever
fighting
fight?
He's fighting Ryo. He's fighting what's his name? Ryo, the one that just beat Pitbull. That's who he's fighting next.
All right. I thought that collapsed. I thought they were going in another direction.
From what that's the last I heard. I heard that's the one he's aiming for. He's fighting that kid, which makes sense. They both fought Pitbull. They both beat Pitbull. It's an in-house fight, I believe.
Yeah, I'm kind of like,
That satisfactory fight, considering that Shakur was available.
Yeah, listen, with Tank, it's kind of wake me up when he fights somebody, man. Like,
yeah, I guess so.
It's too much and too long. How long do you want to milk the cow for?
You're right.
Very wild.
The one thing that's bad about Tank is that you're right. Everything you said, like when you go fight somebody, but at the same time, everybody in his division, I believe he can beat. That's the crazy part. And we don't have any leg to stand on saying that because you're not fighting the proper people in your division. But he's so talented and so powerful. I can't front. He's a favorite against anybody in that 135 weight class. I think
But
Shakur
that's
might
what
beat
makes
him.
it upsetting.
Yeah, that's what makes it exactly.
Because
You
he's
said it
got
correct.
that talent. Like you're not a
Exactly.
guy that we look at and think, oh, I don't know. Like most of these guys, you could probably clean out. Like you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But let's see
That
it.
was
You know what I mean?
that was the entire, what do you call these people? The alphabet community. That was the entire I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the YouTube people.
Yeah.
That was the entire thing with Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. If you would have took the fight when they offered the 100 million and all of that, if he would have took the fight, Wilder had a chance of winning that fight, a real good chance of winning that fight. Why wouldn't you take the fight, bro?
Because they knew he would have got clapped out. That's why. Like we all knew he
Not,
would have got clapped out.
but no, he had a better chance than he got now.
He had a better chance.
This AJ would destroy Wilder, even the Wilder that was knocked out Luis Ortiz and all of that. But Wilder then had a better chance. He had a chance, man, and you wasted that shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I would have liked to have seen it then, for real.
Yeah, everybody wanted
Then
to
we
see
would
it.
have
It was
known
a
what's
good
what.
fight. It was a good fight then. But
It
damn,
might have been
dog.
the making of Wilder as well. Sometimes it's not just the money that you don't take; it's the development that you get out of. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
out of those kind of fights. Like he might have got beaten, but it might have also humbled him a bit quicker, and he might have concentrated on his fundamentals. You know?
exactly.
Let me
But his
just call this.
career would have did that.
Let me just call this super chat. Big up HC for the super chat. Big yourself up, and it's appreciated. Yeah, this echo's quite serious, isn't it? Yeah, man. Yeah. I think that's. We got it covered. Any other observations from anyone? It's all right. It's just take your time. Don't worry.
Does anyone give Tyler Denny a chance against Shiraz?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I think there's a chance, but I expect Shiraz to come through though. But Tyler Denny definitely has a chance.
I think Denny could beat him. Like I don't trust him at that weight, man. What's this echo, man?
I would say that everybody that's a weight bully has their day. They have their day where it don't work out for them. Every single one of them. Look at Errol Spence, look at Devin Haney, look at Josh Taylor, look at every single one of them has their day. I don't know if tomorrow's gonna be Shiraz's day, but sooner or later he gonna have his day. And it don't matter if he moved up in weight. It don't matter what you do in your career. The fact that you keep depriving your body and coming back and slingshotting with your body, somewhere is going to show results. It always does. It always does.
If I was in
What they
charge,
reckon?
Roy
They reckon
Jones Jr. Forgot Roy Jones Jr. Had to throw him in there.
They reckon Hamza's about a fight or two away from a title challenge. I heard the other day.
As a middleweight title, no way. But I'll tell you why, right? Because it's kind of a dead division at the moment. So yeah, he might pick up a belt. Then when he's got that belt, he's going to be defending it because that's his big money trinket. Okay, and he ain't staying at middleweight for very long. So I would, if I was handling him, I'd let him grow into super middle, and then go for a title. Never mind picking up a belt at 160 and then continually draining yourself just to get down.
Well, Jake Donovan and someone else, I think it was Kevin Iole, said that there was an offer for Johnny Beck to fight Shiraz, and Johnny Beck ducked the fight.
Johnny Beck ducked the fight.
Yeah, he avoided the fight. The fight was it the Canadian? Who was he fighting? Yeah, that's what they're saying.
That's strange. That's strange.
It's not strange to me. That guy's one of the biggest hype. I remember when he started off, they were hyping him up. Some people, man. The new Golovkin, he's better than Golovkin. He's this, he's that.
Yeah, but Denzel pushed him.
Early days, man. Early days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That Denzel Bentley fight, boy, kind of like exposed that little myth, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Denzel did well, for what it was worth. Janabek, the middleweight division is so whack. right now.
Yeah. Dead division.
It's so
It's a shame, isn't it? Because I mean, middleweight's, you know, one of the original 8 divisions and all that history, and now look at the state of it. It's very sad to see.
Yeah, man, that used to be a solid division, man, and it's just turned into
The Garcia Lara fight. Just
Jesus.
That summed it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, that summed it up, man. I mean,
That's Jamal Charlo's division, man. That's all you got to say. He destroyed that division.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
They're both
Wow.
both Charlos.
The PBC have got a lot to answer for, man.
Yeah.
They've got a lot to answer for in boxing.
PBC is crazy, man. Like, I don't know what they're doing there, man. Like, they can't put on cards because Canelo's took all the budget with one fight, with one crappy fight against. But I'm not saying it was crap, but how do you give one man the budget for a Berlanga fight? If you're going to give away the budget, give it away for Benavides or the Bivol rematch, or, you know, if he beats the winner out of Bivol and Baturbio, something like that, man.
Yeah.
Not for
It's probably just
Berlanga.
it's a slow drip, innit? They're just squeezing the last bits of money out of what they've got.
The only two people are benefiting from it is the PBC don't have to pay Canelo the guarantee, but they're still getting him on there. And then, like, the PBC have to divvy up that 60. Canelo's still doing 600,000, like, fighting opponents like Berlanga. That shows how much they love him. The Mexicans love him. They love him.
Yeah, rightfully so. He's put in work.
Can't do no wrong. I wouldn't have paid for that.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But the Mexicans will.
£80 to watch him fight. I don't care where he comes from. I don't care if he comes from flipping Jamaica and flipping Finsbury Park. Everywhere I've been, you know what I mean? I couldn't care less. I'm not paying.
The smartest thing that Canelo ever did was to take over the Mayweather dates, because the culture of Mexico was that on Independence Day and Cinco de Mayo, we sit in the house and we watch boxing. And it was always Mayweather trying to beat up their Mexican fighters, so they all hyped up. So now Canelo, their champion, actually takes over those exact dates. So culture doesn't change. Everybody goes and watches the fight. So he's getting that pay-per-view every single time. That it's like a residual. It's very smart. That was very smart. That's compound interest is what that is. That's like very intelligent. Yeah. He used what was already there and built off of it.
Boy. I just want to see him fight.
He's going to be the last of a dying breed of fighters across the pond. You can go to networks and get these guarantees. That's not going to be happening. You know what I mean? No, that's going to stop.
You raise a point. Who's the next big star after Canelo's gone and AJ's gone? Because these are like kind of the two biggest draws, isn't it? And they're probably about a year or two away from dipping. What happens to boxing after that?
You have to develop the next stars. That's what it is.
It's terrible. Stars. It's gonna look bad. It's going to especially look bad for American boxing. The next star you're gonna have, it's gonna look real bad for American boxing. They're gonna be non-existent. The only person they're gonna have is Tank. Tank is gonna be the next kind of big star because we all see Tank. We know the gimmick there. But other than that, Jalalov is going to take over the heavyweight division. Him and Moses Atama, that they're basically the heir apparents over there. Neither one is American. Russia basically is probably going to take out the light heavyweight division. I don't know what the light heavyweight division, but right now it's in the hands of Russia. 168. Go ahead.
LT said Robert Garcia said it's coming from your mic. I am like the echo. I don't know what it is. LT said Robert Garcia said Tank team wanted Rayo at 135, but Rayo is the champ at 140. See, trying to drain him, trying to drain Rayo. Typical Tank tactics. That's what Tank does, isn't it?
And so he's fighting these guys, and he's not even fighting them on fair footing. Like, this is what I'm saying about. That's why I personally can't get as invested as everybody else is. Like you say the
Oh,
name Tank, and everybody's skirt starts blowing up. I'm like, he ain't. It's
yeah.
weird.
I'm not impressed with all that. Salsa said, Beats, ever since Munguia went to top rank, I haven't heard of him. He's fighting tonight. I didn't realize that. I forgot that he's on top rank, man. That's not a good fit for him, man. He was better from Golden Boy. I didn't even know he was fighting tonight. I tell you what, right? Top rank in the PBC, and like they don't promote like DAZN. DAZN do more promotion for their fights, and Amazon do zero promotion for the PBC. Zero.
How much do you
Hey,
think?
Beats, do I sound a little bit better now?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
clear.
better. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I had those Apple big ass headphones on, so that's why. Maybe that was the problem.
All right, no problem. That's a lot better, man. HC, Black America loves Tank, especially the World Star casuals. That's not so true, HC. There's a lot of Black Americans who are very critical. I think in the LDBC too, there's a few. I mean, there are a few pretty critical of Tank. Yeah, yeah.
You know, American boxing is, you know, it's taken a dip, let's put it that way, in certain divisions. So how much of this is down to PBC and the whole Mayweather promotion thing and everything? You know, because PBC, one of you guys said earlier about PBC has got a lot to answer for. I agree with that. But if I was an American, I'd be thinking, you know, they've contributed greatly to, you know, a sort of dip in American boxing in general.
But Americans, correct me if I'm wrong, Hayam, from what I see over here, there's a vast, let me not even do that. I've seen a lot of Americans defending the PBC, you know, in not so much in recent times. I don't think much gets said
Those
about them
guys are
because they're not really
clowns.
active.
Those
But
guys are
I'm
clowns.
not talking about those guys. I'm talking about outside of those. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the
Yeah, those
LDBC
guys are clowns.
guys. Yeah, we know who they are. Like, yeah, cool.
Mhm.
That you can qualify that as a small circ of you know Americans. But even outside of that, you know, I've seen other Americans championing the PBC at times when they were making, you know, dubious decisions in boxing, decisions that
I gotta be
ultimately
honest.
have brought us here.
I got to be honest with you. I'm a real boxing fan. I'm obviously American, you know. So we go where the content is basically. The PBC, I only spoke highly of the PBC when they was putting real fights on live TV. That was amazing when they first started. When it was,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, when Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter was like on Channel 4.
Yeah,
That was like
yeah.
fucking crazy. That was
I think
beautiful.
everybody was on the train at that point
Yeah,
because it
that was
looked like
gorgeous.
something new.
Yeah, that was gorgeous. After that, they went downhill incredibly. It was just garbage. They took over 125 fighters from De La Hoya by way of Richard Schaefer, and it just went to shit. They took on way too much too fast. Couldn't even get the dates. Their business model was kind of flawed. I think the PBC is garbage. To be honest, I don't like nothing I see from them. Inability from the fighters. It's just inactivity, should I say, from the fighters. It's terrible. It's
I
terrible.
mean,
It's garbage.
they've
These
got
guys,
Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach is next for Tank. They're saying
They're
Soldier
saying Lamont
LT.
Roach,
Yeah, December the 21st.
or maybe something changed. Last thing I heard was the Ryo kid.
You think Roach can make an impression on Tank, or is it another one-sided flogging?
when was Tank's last fight?
The Frank Martin fight. It was like
Frank
what, a
Martin.
Oh
month and
yeah,
a
that was the other day, innit? That was the
Yeah,
other day. Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like a minute ago.
He doesn't do no. Lamont doesn't do. Does he do any better than Frank Martin?
No,
I don't think so.
he gets caught earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you see what they're doing over there, man. Like, see, Rowley's trying to get off the grid and get a fight, isn't he? He's trying to fight Liam Paro. The Tim Tszyu versus Bakram, that's being bankrolled by No Limit, the Australians, and Kathy Dubois. They need second and third parties to do the cards right now. Like all of the Canelo fights they've done have been in conjunction with DAZN. you know, putting it on pay-per-view too. So it's it's a weird situation, very weird
So,
situation.
so all that big talk Canelo was giving Turkey Al Sheikh, he's likely gonna end up bouncing back to Turkey to get that money
Yeah,
because
all roads lead back
Turkey
to
and
Turkey.
DAZN are
Yeah,
linked up. Exactly, it's DAZN and Turkey are linked up. So he's gonna end up coming back there to him. I don't even know what all
He's
that
gonna
was
end up
about anyway.
he's gonna end up working for Turkey when Turkey buys shares of his own.
did Turkey buy the Ring magazine?
Did he?
Damn.
Rumor. Yeah.
That's from Golden Boy. That means he bought that from Golden Boy. Golden Boy owns Ring magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Yeah.
He's starting to
Turkey
take a
not
piece of
messing
the
about,
pie.
man.
He's starting to take pieces.
Yeah.
Listen,
Slowly
the
but
game is
surely, brick by
changing,
brick.
man.
Yeah.
Like you said, slowly but surely, brick by brick.
The
Mm.
game is changing proper,
I want
and
somebody to fucking buy out the British Boxing Board of Control. That's
yeah. They
I
can go.
fucking hate
They can
them.
go. They can
I
go.
hate them. They was
Yeah.
threatened. Their existence was threatened by a $2.5 million lawsuit. Turkey Al Sheikh could buy them out at breakfast, yo. Just buy
Honestly,
out the whole shit.
Their existence for two. Now listen, they've had the begging bowl out since 1990 when they had to pay Michael Watson out, man. And what was
Yeah.
that? I think that was around $1 million or whatever it was.
Oh, come on. They
How
be
much was it?
collecting $5 door fees. That's what that's
Frank
they-
Warren chipped in to keep them in existence.
Yeah, no, I want them gone. I want them out of the business.
Although
I want-
he got some tax breaks or he got some concessions for it though.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you don't get me wrong, I have great criticisms of the British Boxing Board of Control, but you've got to replace it with something good, not with something just as bad.
No.
well,
You can
personally,
replace
Joe,
it
I think it
correctly.
will be replaced with something better. I can't see any,
Yeah,
another
nothing can be
organization
worse.
coming in. Right? How can it get worse? Like these
Yeah.
guys, it comes across sometimes like they don't even review their own policies and processes. It's like old money just trying to maintain or fight against evolution. That's what it feels like most of the time. And Eddie has said that himself many a time. And Eddie, for whatever he is himself, he's a forward thinker. He's thinking about how things can evolve. He's got that kind of, don't want to say young mentality, but more like he engages more
Yeah.
with
New age mentality.
Yeah,
right.
But if I'll give you an example of, and this is just to play devil's advocate here, but in Britain we have some of the best health and safety regarding fighters. Okay, there has to be. This is following the Michael Watson incident.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of that is down to the board, whether we like it or not. And none of us.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Right,
fine.
That's
And
an
those
example.
are the types of things that could be maintained.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
Because what I'm saying is it's not progressing. The board itself is not progressing. So
Yeah, it's not.
if something else can replace the board, maintain what we would consider as good practice, and then start to introduce better practices than what's in place now. Like I don't see why that's such a hard thing to do. Like businesses do that every single day. Do you know what I mean? When they take over.
And in theory, I agree with you. But can I just mention a couple of organisations that make the British Boxing Board of Control look flawless? The
Go
WBA,
ahead. Sorry.
What?
WBA, WBC. I mean,
I should have saw that one coming. They need to go as well. Mauricio Solomon, he got to go.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here because, I do agree that the board has a lot to answer for. They do a lot of awful stuff and terrible stuff. And not least of all, their referees and their judges are not held accountable and so on and so forth. But things can always be worse. Trust me. I mean, me and Beats will tell you. And I'm not putting the old man card on you. I'm just saying that me and Beats go back and
I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
And we remember, like before the Michael Watson tragedy, we remember the sort of shit that was going down then. Things are better now than they were then. Yes, they could be much, much better. I agree.
As it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. You need progress, don't you? And as time passes, you should expect progress. You should demand it. But we need to be careful what we replace the board with.
Yeah. No
Fair
doubt.
point.
But they need to be replaced. They are antiquated. Their way of looking at things is stupid. Like they're gone, man. They need to go. And they're not even. It's one thing when you talk about Mauricio Solomon and the WBC. At least the WBC is doing it for big money. The board is just there like a old granny just complaining for no reason. They're not even doing it for money.
I
Like the
don't
board is
know.
terrible. Like
I hear the point, Hiram, but I don't know if I could agree with that. Like they're both bad and equal. Like Mauricio Solomon is
he's
offbeat.
horrible. He's horrible.
Like money or no money, that's not really
They
going
need to
into
be
the sport like
replaced
that.
as
That's for
well.
his pockets. Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go.
He's got
I
to
would
go.
even say there's a bigger case for him to go
Yeah.
than the British board. Like WBC have been on some BS for a long time, man. Like even when if we go to recent memory, the witness protection program, for Tyson
hmm
Fury, Deontay Wilder, these are the things that could have totally stunted boxing in the long run, and they didn't give a damn about that.
Yeah,
Do
that
you know
is
what I
true.
mean?
That is true.
That's true. You're
You
100% correct. You're 100% correct.
when they kept dealing out from that shot against
Yeah,
Wilder, that was
1,000
like
days.
disgraceful, man. Yeah,
It was
disgraceful.
ridiculous.
I mean, in the regarding making a profit, these organisations shouldn't be there to make a profit. It's like saying that the police force should be making a profit. They're there to police the and ensure the safety of the fighters. Maybe get some pension schemes going for fighters. Make sure that the judging is fair. Make sure that referees are a high standard. That they're a service. They're not a money making organisation, or at least they shouldn't be. The WBC is, which is largely why we get all this sort of shitstorm with all sorts of ridiculous mandatory. WBA, by the way, are even worse than the WBC, as you probably know.
Oh yeah.
All their ridiculous belts, interim belts when you don't need, when the guy's already holding the belt and is active. It's regular belt. What the fuck's a regular belt? I mean, this is nonsense. So we need to kick all this crap out. I think the board, compared to them, and I know this isn't saying much, the board is actually doing a lot more good in boxing than those other organisations.
Well, we know that if the WBC or the WBA are likely to go before the board, because I haven't heard Turkey really say anything that directly affects or impacts the board. In fact, they work with the board. Do you know what I'm saying? So, because it's the British board of control that sanction all the fights in Saudi, right?
That's why there's no VAR testing a lot, unless they're world title fights.
Is what he just said true? That the British Boxing Board of Control is sanctioning all the fights in Saudi? Is that true?
They license the fighters. Yeah.
No, the licensing the fight is when they like kind of sanctioning the event. Like, is the British Boxing Board of Control like the sanctioning body of Saudi Arabia's boxing?
Yeah,
they've got some form of accountability. They've got some form of sign off on the event.
Some form of sign off. Okay, fair enough. I didn't know that. That's what I'm asking. They got to get rid of the British. Oh, I want them gone, man.
So, even on just to finish that point, we know that Turkey doesn't like all these millions of belts, so he's more likely to target the alphabet companies
the sanction
before even looking at
it's no point
the British board.
The regulatory body.
It's no point attacking the belts, because the belts are basically a marketing tool for a lot of promoters in different countries to sell fights. That horse is bolted the stable. People use belts to sell to, like, as soon as the IBF belt wasn't up for grabs for Warrington and Kakache, they put the IBO belt up. Oh, it's for the IBO belt. So even they're doing it. They're not going to do that with the belts, man. They're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't think the belts are that big an issue. I think the issue is like boxing fans saying Usyk isn't undisputed because he was stripped. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make what has him being undisputed got to do with a political decision? When we saw him win the 4 belts, why wouldn't he still be undisputed? It doesn't matter if they take the belts. It's this. A lot of it is down to the fans. You can't just leave it down to the administrators, man. You know what I mean?
Well, we have to take back the power. It's like
the bad thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wanted to just say this. I agree with you as far as the belts don't matter once you won all the belts and you vacate a belt. Obviously, you're the undisputed champion. We know who the hell we're looking at. But the one thing about boxing that is upsetting to admit, but it's the truth, is that the belts will always matter in boxing because that's the culture that the sport has developed. So the sport is the oldest televised sport in out of any sport. Is like 1900, 1800, some 1898, some shit like that. But anyway, the we've always had belts, so this but the history and the culture of the sport is now connected to those belts. I hate to say that the sanctioning bodies have that power, but they do in that regard. You know what I mean? I hate to admit that, but we will always need to see who the champion is, and
Mm.
that's off the belt. Everybody
But
knows
that's
what
part of the
heavyweight belt
problem. We
is.
always need to see who the champion is, but more time, especially for the average viewer, they don't know who the champion is because there's too many belts.
No,
That's part
I
of
think
the
I
argument.
agree with you that we went stupid, we went too
But
crazy when all of the belts.
it's
I agree.
look,
Before it
it's
was
down
only
to the
8 belts.
fans. It's all down to the like if the fans focus more on 50-50 fights than who's sanctioning the fights, then you get a more balanced appraisal at world level, domestic level, whatever country you go to. But
Mm.
that's what you've got to demand. Like that's why these real season cards are popular because like Boatsi versus Hutchinson. I'm not sure how that's going. A lot of people might say Shearer's his favorite, but Denny's on a terrific run of form, and people want to see fights like that where you think the other guy has a chance. That's what boxing is all about. You don't want to see Mauricio Lara versus Danny
Mm.
Garcia. I mean, what's happened in America? How did
Very
69
messy.
people listen? After Lisa Bells, yeah, I went live and I picked Danny Garcia. I picked Mauricio Lara to win in my prediction beforehand. And when I saw 69% of people in the fan zone said that Danny Garcia was going to beat Mauricio Lara, I was just
It's
scratching my
crazy.
head and saying, where did you guys come from? Where, do you not like? He's got a 7-inch reach advantage. Danny's never fought at middle or light middle.
Mm. I think
I think in that situation, like it
You mean
sounds
Ellis
like
Landy
people were
Laura?
going for the name. They were going for the name that they knew. You know what I mean?
The name
Rather
they
than
knew, but they
analyzing the
don't know.
fight.
Not they know Danny Garcia, but don't know Aries Landy Lara, who had a controversial fight with Canelo, who beat Paul Williams but got rocked.
True, true, true,
I
true.
think I think words have meaning, or words should have meaning. They need to have meaning. So the winner of, say, Dubois versus Joshua will be a world titleist. They will hold the IBF title. We all know that the world heavyweight champion is Alexander Usyk, even if he
I
gave up
like that.
every belt.
I like that.
So if
I
you
like that.
apply the proper terms, and I'm not saying this happens overnight, but if you insist that words have meaning and that you apply the proper terms, then it will at least clarify it somewhat. So you can say, well, yeah, like Joshua Dubois holds the IBF title, we have a titleist, but we all know that the champion obviously is Usyk.
Well,
I
I'd
was
say the
literally
winner. I'd say the winner is a
God,
world champion, but Usyk is undisputed champion. There's a distinction between the two. You're a world champion, but you're not an undisputed. Usyk is an undisputed lineal champion.
I agree.
That's what he won in the
but
ring, and no one's took it from him. He hasn't done anything to violate like his terms as an undisputed champion. So why isn't he undisputed? How comes back in the day, yeah? If you're going back to like the NBA belt and the New York State Athletic Commission titles,
That's Ali
right?
Frazier.
No, I'm going back before. We're going back like say after Dempsey and Tunney. Like that's when you started seeing them belts, like just between 1920, 1930, going up to, I haven't got the dates, right? But how come them days, yeah, you could win the National Boxing Association title. You could win that, but you didn't have to win the New York State Athletic Commission. And no one would say, oh, you need to go and win that belt. What would happen is sometimes that sanctioning body would recognize your fight, and sometimes they wouldn't. And maybe the New York State Athletic Commission would recognize. But there wasn't this, oh, you've got to win both belts. So why is there this need that Usyk has to keep all the 4 belts regimentally to be undisputed? It doesn't make sense. It don't make
Because you
sense.
just said it. It's the marketing thing, isn't it? That's why it's what people can see. What's that thing that Deontay Wilder said to Fury once when Fury said he's the lineal champion? He goes, "You can't even touch it." He goes, "You're going to be going to what did he say? You're going to be going to bed to sleep by yourself or something. I sleep with my belt." So it's about having that, that tangible.
Tyson
That
Fury was never lineal champion.
oh, I know that. Listen, I can write a thesis on that. That was BS from long time, as far as I'm concerned. But whatever, that's what they said, or he said that he wasn't. Everybody went along with it. But when he said that before, I think it was before was it the first Wilder fight or the second Wilder fight? And Wilder kind of jibed him about, the lineal belt doesn't even like it's invisible. It's not a real belt. And leaning into that, I think that's why, that off the back of that kind of statement, it's kind of important for people to be able to see something that they can associate with a champion. So yes, we know Usyk is the undisputed champion. In fact, I was going to say we know, but everybody knows because it was a massive event.
But rather than muddy the water with this word undisputed, Usyk is the champion, not a champion. He's the champion. And if we call
I was going to say, Joe, between what you said earlier with, using the correct terminology and what Beat said, I think two things can exist at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that, would you say the titleist, the world titleist?
Titleist, yeah. A titleist. Holds a title.
A titleist. Yeah. But then there's a whole lot that goes into that. There's in terms of marketing that universally, and will all the sanctioning bodies want to get on board with that? Do you know what I mean? Like they don't really work together. So that's probably one of the reasons why it can't happen. Look at the Bridgerweight thing. Only two, sanctioning bodies recognize it. It's like it's a non-starter. Like
Let's look at that word titleist. Let's look at that word titleist. Charles Martin, titleist or champion?
Titleist.
Titleist.
He held the IBF title. Does anyone seriously think Charles Martin was the?
I got a better question for you. Okay. When AJ walked in the ring in Wembley Stadium against Vladimir, titleist or champion? Because he didn't have any title.
Titleist.
Vladimir didn't have a title.
Right, Vladimir didn't. Oh well, AJ was he? I'm trying to think.
AJ was IBF. AJ was
IBF
champion.
And but wasn't there a vacant belt on the line as well?
It was two vacant belts.
There was two vacant belts on the line.
IBO.
Yeah. Well, I didn't consider him to be the heavyweight champion of the world, and obviously
he was a heavyweight champion of the world.
What I'm asking you is, what was Vladimir Klitschko? Was he titleist or champion?
At that particular time.
Well, Klitschko didn't have a belt. He didn't have a belt at that time.
Yeah, but what was he?
He was a challenger.
He was a challenger for the IBF title.
We know that on paper. But Vladimir Klitschko was the champion.
How?
Really? Like, he never got his rematch. We know he reigned for 10 years in the heavyweight.
Nah,
division.
we can't do that. We can't do that.
All right.
We can't do that.
Now, let's go to the next question. Joseph Parker, what was he? Titleist or champion?
Titleist.
When? At what? When
he fought AJ, obviously.
So going by what we're talking about, then you'd consider him a titleist. Yeah.
You would consider him a titleist. So basically, AJ has only fought and beat titleists. He never fought and beat the actual champion. So who's the champion?
Who was the champion at that time? Good question.
Who's the champion?
Maybe there wasn't one. I mean, we should reserve the right to say, well, there isn't.
Okay, fair enough.
There's no universally recognized champion at that time.
This is what I'm saying. So I'm trying to get y'all to that point. I'm putting a little fire under your feet. So now there was no champion. There was no real champion. So now we blame AJ because he only fought titleists, right? But now, who was the champion before that? Who was the man before that? Before AJ stepped on the scene, who was the actual world champion?
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury was the world champion.
I would say going way back to Lennox Lewis, actually, is the last.
No, this is where I'm going. You led me to it perfectly. Now we know Lennox Lewis was the actual lineal world champion.
He was.
Now we all say, and I know my boxing just like y'all know y'all boxing. There's no way Tyson Fury was actually lineal, but is there? Because there was nobody else. And
Well, Lennox had retired, so that what
yeah,
happens in that situation? Like,
what happens is
what do you
that you
do?
form a consensus champion. Once the lineage breaks, your next thing that you look for is a consensus champion. The
You know
consensus
what?
champion
Go on.
was Tyson Fury, right? Was Vladimir
Yeah.
Klitschko, then Tyson Fury,
hmm
right?
Well, can we
I
just
even
highlight?
disagree with that. I even disagree with that. Sorry, one sec, one sec. Let me land with this point. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go
even
ahead.
disagree with that. At the point where the likes of a Lennox Lewis has exited the game and he was the
Mm-hmm.
last universally accepted champion,
Mm-hmm.
it should go like nobody is a champion until you've collected all the belts.
But we had one. Okay, let's keep with your point. Let's keep with your point. Nobody's champion till you collected all the belts. One guy went around, collected all the belts. He couldn't collect the last one because his brother had it, right? So then now some young punk from the UK or Ireland, whatever you want to say, comes up and beats the one guy that has all of the belts. That kind of makes him the lineal at that time. I'm not a Tyson Fury fan. I could give a fuck. I don't want to talk shit, but we know Michael Spinks. We know Mike Tyson. We know Michael Spinks was lineal. We know Mike Tyson was the consensus champion. We know they fought. We know what happened. But right now, that's all you got is
He
Tyson Fury,
wasn't the lineal.
Klitschko.
He wasn't the lineal champion.
Michael Spinks was, right?
Yeah, Michael Spinks was, but Tyson Fury
Exactly.
was
Mike
not.
Tyson was not. So he was the consensus
No,
champion.
Mike Tyson Fury wasn't.
No, you don't understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that Michael Spinks was the lineal champion. There was a consensus. He was out of the business. He wasn't doing shit. There was a consensus champion evolving around Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson
Yeah,
went,
Spinks was lineal. Spinks was
yeah,
lineal, yeah.
Spinks was lineal. Mike Tyson went and knocked him out and made it that he was lineal. No problem. But now, all you got, Lennox Lewis stepped out the way. Tyson Fury gained, I'm not Tyson Fury, Vladimir Klitschko gained the majority of the belts. Now Tyson Fury comes and he beats him. That kind of makes him lineal at that point. At
I
that
feel like
point,
I'm
I
missing
know it
something.
wasn't passed down line for line, but
I feel like
when,
I'm missing something.
You got
when the lineage
you
breaks,
got to
that's what
be
I'm talking about. When the
you got to
lineage
be
breaks.
you got to be undisputed to start the lineage.
Yeah,
Tyson
but I'm
Fury was
saying
never
Vladimir
undisputed.
couldn't be undisputed only because his
Well,
brother
that's his
held the
fault.
other title.
Well, that's his problem.
Yeah.
Fair
If you
enough.
can't fight your brother, what can we do? Can't
This
recognize you as undisputed.
I keep hearing this word lineal. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the lineal. First of all, this lineal champion thing originated about 100 years ago with a newspaper, or it was either a newspaper or a magazine, and I'm pissed off that I can't remember the name of it. Okay, it was actually a newspaper creation. Okay, and then as the decades passed by, we sort of amended it to meaning that the guy who was the last man standing. So if in the case of Vladimir Klitschko, okay, his brother had a WBC belt, he retired, remains to earn, picks it up, then Wilder gets it.
I'm sorry, fam. I'm sorry.
Not our problem.
I'm sorry, but you said, I'm sorry, I mean to cut you, but you said that we equated with who's the last man standing. No, that's not what we equated with. We equate lineal with the guy that beat the guy. That's what lineal means to us. The man that beat the man.
Okay, but what happens if the lineage is broken?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now you
Then whoever should have to go around and collect it, like Joshua's trying to
that's
do.
the consensus
At a point.
champion.
This is what I was trying to point out. But if you're talking about the lineal champion, this mythical thing that existed, it actually has nothing to do with that. It actually goes back to, again, I'm really pissed off. I can't remember this newspaper. I'm going to have to Google it later on. But it actually stemmed from it was a bunch of journalists that said, okay, we all agree, and this is the lineal champion. It had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, but a lineal champion, the whole idea of it is that you could go through a century of boxing and the belt has been passed down from man to man to man to man. Like Ali lost to Trevor Berbick and then Mike Tyson beat Trevor Berbick. That kind of thing. That is went down from line to from man to man.
Well, the word lineal suggests lineage, innit?
Yeah,
So
that's the point.
No,
One
no,
straight
but
line.
Ollie Trevor Burbick wasn't for a title. It was a
No, I know.
non-title fight.
I'm just
Ollie.
giving an example. I
Okay,
know that. I know that. I'm just giving an example.
all right. I get you.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying? The
So,
man that beat the man.
Yeah.
but what Joe's saying is giving us a piece of history here. Like, obviously, that's going to create better context and better understanding. However, we are where we are, and what from even this discussion here, I think we generally recognize lineal as the lineage to the last undisputed. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. But let's be really naughty here and say, hang on a minute, Lennox Lewis didn't hold the WBO belt. So, and Alexander Usyk doesn't hold the IBO belt.
Well,
So
neither did Mike Tyson, but that wasn't the standard at the time. That they hadn't established themselves. So
I agree. But now you have to have the WBO belt to be considered the undisputed. This is one of the reasons why I'm a little bit reluctant to use this word undisputed. To me, Alexander Usyk is the heavyweight champion, not a champion. He's the champion, right? Because he was essentially the last man standing. Now, but what about if the IBO in 20 years' time is as valid as the WBO, the WBC today? Will they have to collect 5 belts to start a new lineage?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing right now. At least the IBO is on the line. They always find a way to squeeze themselves in.
Because the answer to that question, Joe, is in whenever the who was it? Was it the WBO, right? They were the last ones to be recognized as the 4th belt, right? So yeah, I mean, we would have asked the same question at that point years and years ago and come to this place. So yeah, if it becomes 5 that are universally accepted, then you have to go and collect 5 belts.
Yeah, because if you go back to the days of like Nigel Benn, for example, holding the WBO middleweight championship, or title as I prefer to call it, he wasn't internationally considered to be a middleweight, one of the middleweight champions. He held this sort of tin pot belt because at the time the WBO wasn't really considered to be a major player. It was in the UK because Frank Warren kind of promoted it and had close ties to the WBO and still does. Warren also, in the sort of end of the 90s, first half of the first decade of this century, was trying to do the same with the WBU. Ricky Hatton made a load of WBU defenses, but it didn't catch on. The WBU didn't catch on. So you've got to be careful with these belts. You've got to sort of accept them for what they are. And, where do we draw the line? I don't have the answer, but the question is, where do we draw the line with these belts?
Yeah, it's a lot of gray area. I'm still on the idea that if the lineage does break and there's no lineal champion there anymore, we have to form now who's the consensus lineal champion of the world. That person, if they reign for long enough, I believe they are the new lineal champion, and then we reset from there. I
What
believe
do you
that's
mean
how it
by
goes.
reign long enough? What that's an
Like
extra
Vladimir
permutation.
Klitschko reigned for 10 years, or was it 9 years? Vladimir Klitschko defended his titles, reigned for all of that time, collected numerous belts. He did his thing. He had to be the lineal champion at that time. He had to be, dog. There was nobody else.
So if you hold
the lineal
3
champion.
belts,
Say
this
that
is what
again,
I was
Pete.
gonna say.
He was not the
If
lineal
you
champion.
he was a
Either him-
unified champion, he wasn't a lineal champion.
Yeah,
No,
either him
I'm saying
either him or his brother beat
Go ahead.
Lennox, and they didn't unify the straps. He's not lineal champion, bro.
I hear y'all. I hear y'all, but I'm what I'm saying is you reading it by the book as in regular lineal. But once the lineage breaks, shit kind of changes. He got to become
Okay.
Vladimir Klitschko is the consensus champion.
No, because listen. I can go back from Lennox. You trace it back to Shannon Briggs.
Yep.
Who took it from George Foreman.
Okay, you talking about lineage.
Foreman took it from Mora, who took it from Holyfield.
Yep.
Who took it from Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
Who took it from Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
Who took it from Spinks.
Yes.
Who took it from Holmes.
Yes.
Who took it from Ali.
Yes.
Let me ask a quick question.
Who took it from Liston. Who took it from Patterson. Who took it from when the title went vacant. to Marciano,
Mhm.
who took it from Walcott, who took it from Ezra Charles,
That's
who took it from
lineage.
Joe Lewis, who
I
took it
fuck
from
with you,
Brett.
Beats.
And I can keep going if you want.
I love what you just did. That was fucking beautiful. What I'm saying is, when the lineage breaks, it changes everything. You see how you just able to run out the whole line, and that was perfect. That was beautiful. But now the lineage never broke like this before.
No,
Somebody
it
just
broke.
simply
It broke when
retired.
Rocky Marciano retired.
Yeah, when he
All right.
retired.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and how did you form a new lineal champion?
They put Floyd
Archie
Patterson
Moore.
against
Good.
Archie Moore.
Yup. Thank you. That's not a real lineal champion.
Yes, it is, because at the time they didn't
Oh,
have 4 or 5 belts, so that was for undisputed. That's really established
oh
That's
lineal.
come
lineal.
on.
That's lineal.
No,
That's
that's not.
lineal.
No.
It's the start
lineal.
of the new lineage.
Hiram,
It's the start of
Hiram.
Good.
Sorry, there's something that I wanted to just contest a little bit. You were talking
Good.
about, you know, if the champion has reigned long enough,
Yeah.
that still doesn't solve the problem. Like, because
The
if,
problem
like,
is you
saying that,
can't fight the lineal. That's
no,
the
but
problem. The problem is the lineal has retired. You can't fight the lineal to take his actual lineal title. So now the world has to move on. What are you going to do? Who are we going to say is the lineal champion now?
Whoever gets 4
so
scraps
so
like
if
you said. Whoever gets 4
thank you.
scraps like you said.
That's it. That's it as far as I'm concerned. Because if, like in Vladimir Klitschko's case, yeah, he's got 3 belts,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he's reigned for 5 years. And someone else has got 1 belt.
9 years.
And they
9 years.
no. I'm trying to I didn't want to go to 9. I'm just trying to give an example.
Okay,
Right?
I'm sorry.
So you know, Klitschko's got, let me not even use Klitschko. Fighter A has 3 belts, right, in this
Okay.
era, and
Mm-hmm.
they've reigned for 5 years. Fighter
Yeah.
B has 1 belt and they've reigned for 6 years.
Yeah.
Who's the lineal?
Yeah, it's hard to tell until they fight each other. I agree with you on that.
And that's exactly why all the belts need to be collected to end all arguments.
No, that's why we call it undisputed. I fuck with you. What I'm saying is that we found ourselves in a particularly strange situation. We had this is a weird situation. I don't think it's ever happened in boxing before. We had the lineal champion retire. The 2 best fighters in the world were brothers. One had a title, the other had the other 3.
Well, that's
They should have
their
fought
fault.
each other.
They're not going to
That's
fight each other.
the
They should have fought
situation
each
we
other.
found ourselves in. I'm just telling you the situation we found ourselves in. So now the one that has the 3 belts and reigned for 10 years, he fights this young punk coming up, and this young punk beats him. And this young punk says he's lineal. It's hard to like I could argue with him. You ain't
That
fucking
was
lineal
media
punk.
hype. That was media, UK media
Yeah,
hype,
yeah, I know.
led by Frank Warren.
No, but I'm
Right?
saying if you was Tyson Fury, I couldn't argue with you completely. You're not completely wrong.
Vlad was
You
never lineal.
are. You
Regrettably.
are, because
No,
you didn't win
he's
the
not an
lineal.
asshole. If he stands up and says, I'm lineal heavyweight champion of the world, he's not a complete and total asshole, dog. He's not a complete and total asshole.
Bro, he's not lineal. End of. He's not lineal. He's not lineal. He's not lineal. He's not. He made it up. He made it up and he sold himself like that.
I
And all
know
the
that.
shills
I
that
know
followed
Tyson Fury
started doing the
fans.
same thing.
I get I'm not a Tyson Fury
Clemus
fan.
told him that. Clemus told Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? At the press conference. You say you're lineal
I hate that I
champion,
gotta try to
but
defend this punk.
Vladimir Klitschko was never lineal. So how was you lineal?
Yeah,
Tyson didn't even
I
answer.
remember.
Yeah, he didn't even answer.
You know, like I get all of that, but at the same time, can we say Vitaly was lineal?
How? Well, based on what?
How?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking the
Johnson.
question.
Who did he beat?
There was no
He
lineal
beat
at that
Lennox
time.
Lewis.
No, he didn't beat Lennox Lewis.
What?
Come
When?
on, this is what I'm
When
saying.
did he beat
This is what I'm
Lennox Lewis?
saying. It's absolute foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't call Vitaly lineal, you can't call Vladimir lineal, but they're the only 2 that got the
unify the
belts.
straps, Hiram. It's simple. It's not rocket science. They didn't unify the straps. So there's no lineage to start. It's as simple as
The
that.
only way that lineage restarts itself, since the 2 brothers didn't want to fight each other, fine, that's their prerogative. Somebody else comes along and beats one of the 2 brothers and then fights the other brother. and wins it. Then the new lineage starts. Simple.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a
you
very
can
good point.
You
I
could
like
argue
that.
that Vladimir. You could. I mean, I don't agree with this, but I'm gonna. This is further muddy in the waters. But you can say, well, maybe Vladimir was the consensus champion.
He was the consensus champion.
Bring
That's not a
another
doubt.
word in that is ultimately meaningless. But lineal champion. I mean, put it this way.
Let me throw another screwball. Hold on. Let me throw another screwball at you, because you said something that made a lot of sense. What you said was very smart. You said, what if somebody comes through, beats Vladimir, and then now they got to fight Vitaly, and they beat Vitaly. But when Fury fought Vladimir, guess what? Vitaly was already retired. Now we're talking Deontay Wilder and Bermain Stavern. So what are you going to say now?
They will still titleless until someone comes and beats those two people holding the belts.
I hear you. I'm
That's
not even going to argue it no more.
That's how it's always been previously. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I can go beyond. I finished at Braddock, and I can go all the way through. I can go all the way through
I'm going to stand wrong.
Corbett and Jeffries and all them guys, the Boilermaker, all them guys.
I'm gonna stand wrong, Beats. Even though I think I still got a little bit of a point here, I'm gonna stand wrong. I'm gonna stand on wrong. I'm gonna shut the hell up. All right.
Here's an observation for you, right? We got 4 guys all talking about this, right? And we can't come to a comprehensive conclusion, not a complete conclusion.
Yeah.
How the hell do we expect casuals to understand this mess?
Exactly.
This is why boxing will remain a cult sport. I know we've got this massive Wembley thing tomorrow, but generally speaking, boxing is a working class cult sport. And this is why it won't become mainstream, because everything's so fucked up.
Yeah. Well,
quite simple though. Like you go, like I stopped at Lewis, Braddock. You go Braddock, and then you go to Max Baer. You go from Max Baer to Primo Carnero to Jack Sharkey to the German who beat Lewis. What was his name again? Schmeling. And then it was vacant from there. Then you go to not Lewis, for Tunney, undisputed champion after beating Dempsey a couple of times. Dempsey beat Willard. Willard beat Johnson. Johnson beat Burns. Burns beat who did he beat again? What was his name again? Wasn't a very popular champion.
That's your department, Beats.
Yeah. I forgot that one. That's the one I forgot. That's the one I forgot. But yeah, from there, before that's Burns won the vacant title from the Boilermaker. The Boilermaker Jeffries retired undefeated. But it goes all the way from and here's what happened, right? When Jeffries retired, he nominated Burns and the other guy I can't remember, right?
Corbett?
No, it wasn't Corbett. Right? The Marvin. It was Marvin something. Marvin. I can't remember what it was. Marvin Hart. Marvin Hart. Right?
Yeah.
Right. He nominated them. And before Burns, Marvin Hart and was it Jack Root? And Marvin Hart won it. And the public didn't recognize Marvin Hart as the champion. They were saying, no, we don't rate him. And Jeffries came out and said, well, you might not consider him champion now, but if we can just keep him there as, let's say, an interim champion, and in time you might get to appreciate him as champion. So even then there was gray area, but at least there was only one title there. So even though they didn't accept Ezra Charles, and until he beat Joe Louis. Joe Louis had to come out of retirement. You know what I mean?
Well, I was gonna say, even in that situation, sorry, Beats, to cut you, like the example that you just gave there. At some point, Homeboy is gonna have to fight somebody who, will give him a challenge where he can prove that he's deserving of that title, or new kid on the block comes in and takes that title and becomes said linear, what do you call it? Lineal champion. And then you keep fighting. It's like a gauntlet. You keep fighting and last man standing, basically. Do you know what I mean?
Lineage has to start from an undisputed claim.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though they
Agreed.
didn't accept Ezra Charles, he was dead, like he was lineal champion because Joe Louis retired. But he came out of retirement and fought Ezra Charles. Then he got full recognition. You know, like when Ezra Charles won the title, right? He outpointed Jersey Joe Walcott. Joe Louis retired, and what they tried to do in Europe, the EBU, I think it's the EBU and the British Boxing Board of Control, because Louis weren't champion, they didn't recognize Ezra Charles. They tried to make their own champion, right? So they picked the British champion, Bruce Woodcock, to fight the Norwegian. What was his name again? He fought in America as well. Lee Saffold, right? And Lee Saffold beat the crap out of Woodcock, and they had their own phony champion. And then Lewis come out of retirement and beat the crap out of Saffold, right? Which showed how bogus the belt was. And then they got rid of the belt. And then Lewis fought Ezra Charles, and then he became champion. You know, so it has to go for it's got to go through a stringent process. You can't just hand these titles over. You know what I mean? Not because it's consensus, Hayam. You've got to win the straps. You've got to win the straps, brother. You've got to win the straps.
Put the work in.
Locked out. Yeah, you've got to win the straps.
I hear you. I love that. I hear you, Beats, and I agree with you, to be perfectly honest. I just thought that Vladimir Klitschko at his time, I believe he was the consensus heavyweight champion of the world, which made him the new lineal heavyweight champion of the world. That's what I thought.
Sir Oku saying we're overthinking. You can't even spell lineal. Who's overthinking it? It's simple. You spell lineal with a G since when? No one's overthinking it. No one's overthinking it. It's quite simple. It's simple. It's simple as anything. El Grammar says, "Hi, start your own podcast. We want to hear more from you." You know what I mean,
respect.
Yogi says, "Beats, have you seen the Boots and Bam card?" No, I'm looking forward to it though. I think it's a good idea to pair them up, double up the interest. You know what I mean? Boots and Bam. I like it.
Gents, I'm going to take this opportunity to bounce. Appreciate you having me on the show, Beats. Going to join this 5K run in the morning as well. So don't know what the hell I'm doing up at the moment. Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I'm out, man.
No problem, man. No problem. No
respect to you,
brother. I'm going to cut this one here. Hey, listen, man. I'm gearing up for tomorrow. So.
Same here. I need to save my energy for tomorrow, man. Yeah.
You might need it.
Indeed. You'll probably need it. So.
We're all getting old and that, you know. So, but yeah, man. Big up everybody. Big up Joe. Big up Hayam. Blessings, man.
Nice one, mate. Take care.
All right, brother. Blessings.
All right, big up everybody in the chat with the super chats. Everyone who liked the video, like it on your way up. So Oku says, "Forgive me my spelling mistakes." Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. But it's a simple process, Oku. No one, there's no overthinking it. There's no overthinking it. You know, Ali was lineal champion, even though he gave no, he didn't. He went into the first Spinks fight with the WBA and WBC belt. He lost it to Spinks. Spinks, instead of fighting his mandatory, he gave up the WBC belt and they gave that to Norton. But he's still lineal champion. So when Ali took the belts from him and retired as champion, Holmes, who took the belt from Norton, took the lineage, not the belt, took the lineage when Ali came out of retirement. He took the lineage. It's easy to follow. Well, I guess it's easy for me because I know nearly every fight. You know what I mean? But it's not complicated. It's not complicated, man. You know what I mean?
You've just got to know a little bit of history.
Yeah,
No,
you
yeah,
don't know if
it's
it
one
is.
man.
Don't know
It's
if it
one
is.
man after the next.
Yeah.
I just thought we found ourselves in a very precarious situation.
Lennox, the standard. See, like we're saying with like WBO, like you're saying with like, well, Lennox didn't have the WBO belt. Well, he actually fought the WBO champion, but how it was back then, when he fought Uck one day, he was the WBO champion because the WBO was so lowly regarded. Uck one day had to give it up because the
Yes.
WBC wouldn't allow Lennox to unify the WBC belt with a WBO belt.
Yeah.
Because they just wasn't recognized. They just were had no regard for the WBO back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's all it's like history. It's basically it's just a historical timeline. It's not hard to read, not at all. Not at all.
It really isn't. But that entire timeline, which you're very accurate and on point with, very acute. That timeline leads us to goddamn Dusseldorf, and then we got to be able to explain that, and there's no real good way to explain that.
What do you mean? The Dusseldorf, there was only 3 belts on the line. There was not 4 belts on the line.
Can I just say something? Look, to me, this is my view. Okay, there are in my let's put it this way. In the last quarter of a century, there have been 2 men who can call themselves the heavyweight champion of the world. Not a heavyweight champion, not a titleist, not the consensus, the heavyweight champion. One is Lennox Lewis and the other is Alexander Usyk, for the reasons that we've given. So you can pontificate about, this gap between Lewis retiring and Usyk picking up all the belts and being the last man standing, all you like. You can say that so-and-so was the consensus. Well, to me, that's all well and good. I understand we have to move on. But if you're talking about 2 men or a man who can say, I am the heavyweight champion of the world, for me, it's Usyk, and then prior to that, it's Lennox Lewis.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that.
Usyk, he did it all on the road. Yeah?
Yes, great.
All on the road.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, he did. I feel like I can't argue with your point, fam. I know I can't. I just felt like
he set the standard. Usyk could set the
bar.
The bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he set the standard.
He definitely
template,
has.
the template. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You want to be lineal, undisputed. You saw what Alexander did. Yeah, beat AJ twice, and then took Fury down.
I thought there was a time, basically the Mayweather reign. I thought there was a time where Vladimir Klitschko could say, "I am the champion, heavyweight champion." I thought there was a time when he was fighting Povetkin and Sultan and Bragimov and all of these weirdos. I thought there was a time that he could say, yes, recognized throughout the whole world, everybody looks, that's the heavyweight champion of the world, Vladimir Klitschko. I thought there was a time that he could say that. You telling me no, I'm incorrect. No problem.
Well, Wilder had a belt. Wilder had a belt, and Stavern had the belt while he was champion as well.
Yeah, but
they weren't his brother. They weren't his brother.
No, I know, but they wouldn't put. Remember, Finkel came out and said he's a baby. We're not putting him in when Klitschko. This is what I'm saying. I believe there was a time. This is my delusion that Vladimir Klitschko could say, I was heavyweight champion of the world, the heavyweight champion of the world. I believe there was a time. You telling me I'm wrong? I'm gonna swallow that pill. I'm gonna swallow that pill.
But if you were saying you think that Vladimir Klitschko was the best heavyweight out there in the world for several years or even a decade nearly, I mean that's a perfectly
That's logical. I think it's
logical. Get the WBC belt and then tie it all up.
No, I'm not saying he was the world the champion. He wasn't the champion. But if somebody says, I think he was the best heavyweight in the world, not the champion, but the best heavyweight in the world, that's different to saying he was the heavyweight champion.
I'm saying he was the heavyweight champion. Okay. I'm saying no, just hear me out. Just so you know how deep I go in it. I'm saying the most important person in Floyd Mayweather's career is Vladimir Klitschko. He was the heavyweight champion. He destroyed the heavyweight division with boredom, and then we had to start to look at lower weights, and that's how Floyd Mayweather becomes a success story. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Vladimir Klitschko was the guy, and it showed as far as boxing and the heavyweight division and the turmoil of the heavyweight division. I think Vladimir Klitschko was the guy for quite a while, dog.
But he wasn't the heavyweight champion of the world, in my opinion.
Who else was?
No one. I said earlier, you know, the only. No one could turn around and say I'm
well,
the.
Wilder he had 3 straps. His brother had the belt, and Wilder had the belt, and Severn had the belt. Had the other belt.
No, only Severn had the belt, and then who he fought? He fought on whatchamacallit for the belt, right? Big Nose. What's his name? Spanish kid. You know what we talking about? Areola. Didn't he fight Areola for the belt? It was a vacant belt.
It was Severn.
Severn did.
Severn fought Areola for the vacant belt.
Eliminator
right?
against Areola, then he fought him for the belt.
Yeah. So those 2 fought for the belt. Then Wilder took it. Wilder was running around, but Wilder wouldn't fight Vladimir. I'm just telling y'all, we in a weird lineal situation. Like, look at the situation. Look how weird it is. First, it was 2 brothers. Now is the young kid on the block that won't fight the older man. Like, look at the situation. It's weird.
I didn't hear that. But he did duck Wilder, but Vladimir was like, yo, when's this guy gonna fight me? He wasn't doing that. And even with K2, they just left it.
Like, I don't know, man. I just thought Klitschko had a claim to it at one point. If you go 10 years as the guy, I think you got a claim for it at that point. That's just my thing. But I'll shut up. I'm sorry. I know I keep going. I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, man. Tomorrow, we're gonna do this boxing thing tomorrow. But right now, we'll wrap this one up.
All right, man.
All right, it's been good, man. It's been good. Enjoyed it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Peace.